Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts. And if you like large American rear-wheel drive cars, well, the end of the line for GM is right here. This is the Buick Roadmaster. Now, the Roadmaster name is everything that it implies. Started out in 1936 and built through 58, with the exception of World War II. But the Roadmaster was Buick's biggest, most opulent, most fully loaded passenger car available. Well, the Roadmaster name went into hibernation from 1959 through 1990, but for 1991 through 1996, Buick revisited the classic American rear-wheel drive sedan, and here it is right here. Now, this shared its bones with the Chevy Caprice and Impala SS on the same 116-inch wheelbase, however, with a very Buick form. And here's the big thing: the greenhouse on this, the roof, etc., is from the Cadillac Fleetwood. So the Cadillac Fleetwood actually had a longer wheelbase, so it's not fair to say that this is basically Fleetwood Cadillac. It is a Chevrolet-based platform, but again, it's a Buick with the chassis of a Chevy and the greenhouse of a Cadillac. Very interesting. Now, this one here, as with all Roadmasters, has a 5.7-liter V8. It is gone now, but this would have been the L05 350 with 180 horsepower. Not a bad thing, but for 1994, the LT1 showed up with 80 extra horsepower, 260 horsepower for the final couple of years of the Buick Roadmaster. But again, this would have been the 180 horsepower version. But still, with that much power and rear-wheel drive, this would pull a trailer. We'll see that in a second. Now, we can see under the hood of this one, obviously power brakes, always on every Buick of every type. No more manual brakes at this point in time. Anti-lock brakes. Here's the triggering unit right here. ABS was standard fare on pretty much all American cars. But here's the thing: when the Buick Roadmaster came back out in 1991, it was Buick's first rear-wheel drive sedan since 1987, when the Grand National went out of production. So again, from 88 onward through 1991, Buick was strictly front-wheel drive, which was good, but not so good if you wanted to pull a trailer. More on that in a second. But this one here is, the engine's been liberated. But again, we can see this is body-on-frame construction. We can see that I can put my hand up through here. If this was a Chrysler or certain Ford products, the unitized construction would have a built-in inner fender that would be part of the frame. But these are strictly, the body sits on the frame in classic American production car platform since the 1950s, when body-on-frame was the rule of the land. And the beauty of that is that with supple enough body mounts, you get a very quiet bank vault-like ride. Inside, we'll take a peek here. Shane will switch positions. And again, we look at the roof and the B-pillar. That is strictly Cadillac Fleetwood, that sort of semi-formal, very tasteful, nice surface development on that. But that's from the Cadillac Styling Studios, added to the Chevy-based Caprice / Roadmaster. Inside, we can see this one's fully loaded out. Leather interior, split buckets with a center console, armrest. These were loaded. Air conditioning, cruise control, power windows, all those things were standard equipment on every Roadmaster. And again, as the name implies, Roadmaster, the master of the road. And getting back to the idea of trailering, this is the 1992 Buick full-line catalog. Now, you know, not a bad year. Buick was still very much making passenger cars, little tiny front-wheel drive cars, the Buick Park Avenue Ultra, which could be had with a supercharger, but again, front-wheel drive. We had the there's the blown 3.8 push rod, similar to the Buick V6, believe it or not, the 3.8, very similar in its basic bones. The Park Avenue was front-wheel drive, no rear-wheel drive, and we continue downward. And we have the Riviera, which was strictly front-wheel drive, always a two-door. It was Buick's sort of personal luxury car, but again, front-wheel drive. Here again, the Buick Riviera is here. We get down into the Regals, front-wheel drive from 1988 onward, the Somerset Regal. So rear-wheel drive, what do you do if you want rear-wheel drive? Well, you go to Roadmaster, and we see it right here. Not that junk. This is the Skylark. Ugh, I remember these things as a kid, front-wheel drive, and I never could get used to that weird, looks like it's melting, that weird ripple down the side and around the front. Not my cup of tea. But anyway, with the Roadmaster, we get into the real bones of the situation, and here it is right here. Okay, on the right-hand side, we can see the Roadmaster, a large, almost, it's a Caprice with a Cadillac roof, if you will. But again, we can see here on the left, luxury on a grand scale. The all-new 92 Roadmaster sedans embody luxury on a grand scale. They're powered by 5.7 liters of V8 fuel injection, sophisticated, develops 180 horsepower, again, 260 after 94. But again, the Dynaride suspension, that whole Buick terminology. And in total, there were 200,919 of these built. We can see that in 1992, the biggest year, 70,731, but it diminished from there, 38.3, 35.0, 28.4, 21.5, and then again, 200,919. But of them, total 3/4 were sedans, 1/4 were the estate wagons. But the point of this car, frankly, is trailer towing. And we have here a whole page on trailer towing capabilities. And on the bottom, you can see the Buick Riviera, the Roadmaster Estate. But again, we have the trailer towing. And all those things in red, those are front-wheel drive cars. Look at the maximum gross trailer weight, 1,000, maybe 2,000, 2,000, thereabouts. 5,000 at the bottom in green. Roadmaster sedan or estate wagon, 5,000 pounds you could pull. In other words, over twice what the smaller front-wheel drive cars could pull. And at the bottom, you can see that Garwood wooden boat being pulled by that Roadmaster Estate. And again, with the Vista roof, you can see that little window on top. Yeah, it was a throwback to the Buick Sport Wagon of the 60s. But again, if you wanted to pull a trailer with your Buick, you had to get yourself a 91 through 96 Roadmaster with a full frame and the ability to pull 5,000 GVW pounds. Now, then, these were loaded. No cheapie, no rubber floor mats here. Rubber everywhere, vinyl, leather everywhere, including the back seats. And we can see just plush, almost like a couch, you know, just very, very opulent. The headliner is was a cloth sort of material, and just really beautiful. And again, this Cadillac B-panel right here, which is not found on any Caprice or Impala SS. And as sporty as the Impala SS was in 1996, you know, the Roadmaster with the LT1 was just as potent. The trunk on these was very large, classic American vehicle. And again, with Buick's front-wheel drive styling kind of built in, it's kind of rounded, sort of like the Riviera was. That styling, that design language was utilized from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom of the Buick line. But again, a massive trunk, something you won't find on the front-wheel drive Buicks at this period of time. So again, if you wanted to tow a trailer, you needed one of these things right here. And you can see the crash bumper at the back right here. And this one is pretty much done. We do see, of course, the third brake light, which was standardized in the mid-1980s and seen on every single one of these Roadmasters. But the story with the Roadmaster is that with a little over 200,000 units sold, it was a okay seller. It wasn't breaking any records. And the thing is, these were all built at GM's Arlington, Texas plant, which by 1997, the pickup truck and SUV phenomena was really taking root. So GM shut down Roadmaster production at Arlington and stopped all Roadmasters and dedicated the Arlington, Texas plant to truck and SUV production. And of course, the profits there are multiples of what these things ever were. But if you wanted a rear-wheel drive Buick or Chevrolet for that matter, 1996 was your final year. And here we have a Buick Roadmaster, the end of the line for the great name Roadmaster, at least till I bring it back. We'll see if that happens. Now, these days, Buick is still a big deal in China. Here in the States, you know, the Buick Enclave or whatever these front-wheel drive crossover things are, and all-wheel drive too, they're cool. But rear-wheel drive sedans like this are definitely a thing of the past. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. Subscribe, give this video a like, share it with your friends, and be sure to ring the bell so you're aware of the next video, which comes out tomorrow morning.